Okay, friends. So I hope I have answered all your queries till now, and I also hope that you have enjoyed the nuances, the finer points involved while working with the Newton's second law. You must have realized that there are so many minute aspects to it which we have been kind of ignorant till our 10th standard, but they are so essential to be known while solving numericals based on the Newton's second law. Now, before we move ahead, let's still have a quick recap of what we have just learned in the last 15 minutes or so. We saw that just by writing Newton's second law as F equal to ma leaves many unanswered questions. For example, what is F? You may say F means force, but what if the object that is under consideration, by the way, what do we call the object under consideration as? Huh, yes, system. So, what if the system that we are considering is being acted upon by more than one force? Remember that trivial example which we took when, let's say, our system was being acted upon by two forces, 3 Newton in this direction and let's say 4 Newton in this direction. And we realized that if the system was initially at rest, it will start moving now in what direction? So by common sense, few of you answered that it is going to move somewhere in between, more towards the 4 Newton side. So the net force on the object was not simple scalar addition of 4 and 3, it was not 7 Newton. It was instead the vector addition of all the forces acting on the system. So instead of casually writing it as F equal to ma, we should better write it as vector addition. Remember, this bar sign is not the bar which many of you would have wanted it to be. It represents it being a vector, and we have to do vector addition of all the forces acting on the system. This is one application, by the way, of the vector addition which you had learned few lectures back. The net effective resultant force on a system is the vector addition of all the forces acting on the system. Here we also had a discussion that if we have an extended system with infinitely many particles on it, then these particles would be applying forces on each other. So there'll be so many internal forces involved, it will be a Herculean, very difficult task to deal with them. So we saw that we don't have to bother, we just have to do the simple vector addition of all the external forces acting on the system. And we in brief also touched upon the fact that all the internal forces on the system anyway add up to zero. We'll talk more about it after we discuss the Newton's third law. That's the left hand side of the equation. Great. What about the right hand side? What does m represents? The m represents mass of the system. Amazing. What does a represent? Now please see, the left hand side of the equation is a vector, and a vector can only be equal to another vector and not a scalar. So right hand side, this a is basically what? This a is basically nothing but a vector. A vector being what? The acceleration vector. Now here we had a very interesting discussion. What if our system has got many particles with all of them having different acceleration? For example, let's say the stylus is our system, and different points on the stylus are moving obviously with different accelerations. So in the right hand side of this equation, we take acceleration of what particle? So we mutually decided that for now we'll not deal with such complicated systems. We'll instead deal with systems for whom all particles are moving with the same acceleration. For example, we can take this stylus as the system as long as it is purely translating. Remember, we had a discussion on these two words, rigid body under pure translation, rigid body for which all the particles are having same displacement over any interval of time. If that is the case, then this stylus can be taken as the system while applying sigma f external equal to ma vector. So we better represent this as sigma f external equal to ma vector. Now you should not be in a false impression that you will be able to solve all numericals based on Newton's second law with this small introduction itself. Why? Because when we come across quality numericals, we see physical situations wherein the system or the object under consideration will be surrounded by so many other objects. With few of them it would be in contact with also. So they will be applying forces on the system under consideration. And we till now have not delved deeply into the various types of forces which our system may be experiencing. So that's what we'll talk about in a while. But before that, for now, it is time to talk about the Newton's third law. So what is Newton's third law? So let me activate the chat window for now, because now we'll be doing a lot of discussions and I'm waiting for your responses. What is Newton's third law? Some action reaction law. Okay, so Rohit says to every action there is a reaction. Okay, मतलब तुमने लड़की को जिस इंटेंसिटी से छेड़ा उसी इंटेंसिटी से तुम्हें सैंडल पड़ा. Okay, can we have few more answers? Vaibhavi says equal and opposite. Okay, that's a very nice name, Vaibhavi, almost as good as Vaibhav. See, instead of we discussing what the Newton's third law is straight away, let us check your current levels of understanding through a very simple example. Let's say in vacuum a block is kept on a rough horizontal table. You have to tell me what all forces are acting on the block. As simple as that. Very simple a question. Okay, so let me see how many of you already know something about the various types of forces and the Newton's third law. Okay, what all forces are acting on the block? Okay, so here we have some answers. Gravitational force and the contact force. Okay, what does that mean? Frictional force. Okay. Let's see. We have this block, assume that it's placed on a rough horizontal table. By the way, why did I mention vacuum? See, this is something which I don't want to delve into right now. But even if the block would have been kept on a normal routine horizontal table with air around, the air would not have practically applied any force on the block. Surprised? Actually, we have lots of layers of air or atmosphere near the Earth's surface and we know it spreads up to many tens of kilometers. So the weight of all this air above the block actually acts on the block. But then why don't we consider it while showing the forces? So that's something we'll learn later. The reason is the air is all around the block. Even under the block, there is space and the air is there, and the air pushes the block from all sides, and ultimately the net effect gets nullified. So whether I would have said with air around, or whether whether we say that it's a case of vacuum, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so there's this rough horizontal table on which this block is placed. So what all forces are acting on it? So few of you have mentioned the gravitational force. Few of you have also written it as mg. So let me show it here as mg. When we talk of gravitational force, haven't we heard of Newton's law of gravitation, as per which the force between two masses is g m1 m2 by r square? So in this case, the gravitational force on the block by the earth should ideally come out to be something like this: capital G into mass of earth into mass of the block upon the distance between their centers. Their centers bole to the block center and the earth center, which is practically nothing but the radius of the earth ka square. Should the gravitational force between the block and the earth not be same as this term instead of mg, the way few of you have written? The answer is both are correct, because this is a constant for all objects placed near the surface of the earth. This thing remains a constant whose value comes out to be, when evaluated, comes out to be equal to small g acceleration due to gravity, which is an experimentally measured number, and for most places near the earth approximately comes out to be 9.8 meters per second square. So m into small g is also something which we can call it as, because this entire constant is anyway same as g. We'll talk about the gravitational force at length when we'll talk about the types of forces. But for now, okay, okay, for now I'll give it to you. Mg is one of the forces. Okay, what else apart from mg? So few of you have written contact force. Contact force is, friends, something which we can denote by this symbol n, normal. It is perpendicular to the contact surface, therefore it's also referred as normal, perpendicular to the contact surface. Okay, these two are the forces on the block. Then few of you have written friction. Why friction? Because I had mentioned it is placed on a rough horizontal surface. Okay, so let's say there will be friction between the block and the table. But then in which direction will the friction be? Right or left? Which is your favorite? Or will it be in the forward or backward direction? The friction can be anywhere in the horizontal plane. So let's say it is in the right direction. It's something like this. Okay. But then, as you have already studied vectors by now, you should not have any difficulty in understanding that mg and normal, these two vectors will have no component in the horizontal direction, because they make a 90-degree angle with the horizontal direction, and the component would be n cos 90 and mg cos 90, cos 90 being 0. In the horizontal direction, mg and normal will have no contribution, no effect. So the only force that remains in the horizontal direction on the block is friction. And that being an unbalanced force, by Newton's second law, which we learned a while back, that being an unbalanced force, the block should start moving towards right by itself. तो दोस्तों, भूत प्रेत में तो हम विश्वास रखते नहीं. A block placed on a rough horizontal table, can you imagine, starts moving by itself? So I think if you agree that that should not happen, let me congratulate you for your understanding of the real world. So the truth is, where are we going wrong? The truth is, there will be no friction. एक्चुअली अभी तक हमें शायद फ्रिक्शन का रियल मकसद पता नहीं है. फ्रिक्शन का मकसद क्या होता है? उसका मकसद होता है कि वो जिन दो सरफेसेस के बीच में ऑपरेट कर रहा है, उन दो सरफेसेस के बीच में स्लिपिंग ना होने दे. It wants to avoid slipping. So in this case, there is anyway no slipping between the block and the table. So why would friction come at the first place itself and create a friction and create slipping? Sorry. I can see few comments wherein children have written friction will act in all directions. So even that is incorrect. Friction की जब दरकार ही नहीं है, ज़रूरत नहीं है, it will keep its value 0. आप लोग सोच सकते हैं कि सब डायरेक्शन में फ्रिक्शन आएगा तो भी तो अल्टीमेटली वो कट रहा है, बट कम ऑन, एक आगे इंजीनियरिंग के पर्सपेक्टिव से हम देखें, सो दैट वुड लीड टू सम स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन इन द बॉडी अननेसेसरीली. सो फ्रिक्शन विल कीप इट्स वैल्यू 0. ओके, सो विल देयर बी ओनली two forces acting on this block, mg and normal? So let me tell you, that is the right answer. Yes. Now let me ask you a very important question. Good that you have answered it correctly. There will be two forces acting on this block, mg and normal. So now the question is, will these two forces, mg and normal, form an action and reaction pair? Will these two forces form an action-reaction pair? So let's see your understanding of the Newton's third law. I would want to see some responses before I move ahead. Okay. So most of you feel yes, no. Yes, एंजल राहुल, यार तुम नाम तो सही रखा करो. एंजल राहुल, लवली लवीना. Okay, so most of you feel they do form action-reaction pair. Now what is Newton's third law? So as many of you already know the statement, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And to add a little more, they act on two different bodies. You must have heard of this. Action and reaction act on two different bodies. But here, both these forces, mg and normal, are acting on this block. Both these forces. So should they form an action-reaction pair? Please think and answer correctly. Come on. Okay. So we have a comment that this mg does not act on the block. It acts on the table. Okay. The mg does not act on the block, it acts on the table. Okay. You know, this is a very popular misconception. Since this mg force is shown in the downward direction, it must be acting on the table and not the block. So that's a very popular myth. See, at first place itself, please remember that I asked you to tell me what all forces are acting on the block. You want to see the question? Here is the question. What all forces are acting on the block? So you should only tell me the forces acting on the block. चलो एक बार के लिए मान लेते हैं तुम्हारी बात that normal force is acting on the block and mg is acting on the table. Then normal is the only force acting on the block. So by Newton's second law, that being an unbalanced force, normal block अपने आप हवा में ऊपर उठ जाना चाहिए था, वापस भूत प्रेत. So this is not correct. the net forces on the block have to be balanced. Chalo, let me tell you, the right answer is both mg and normal are acting on the block. Both of them are acting on the block. So now do they form an action reaction pair? Please answer in yes or no. No, yes, still yes. दोस्तों, action and reaction should act on two different bodies, and here both these forces mg and normal are acting on the block. Newton says action and reaction should act on two different bodies, and Newton's credibility is more than us. Chalo, let me tell you the right answer. The right answer is mg and normal do not form an action reaction pair. They cannot. Come on, they are acting on the block, both of them. Shall I tell you in brief what is Newton's third law? See, it's very, very simple. Let's say I have this book with me, a very famous book, Feynman Lectures, and let's say I push this book with a force F. So my hand pushes this book with a force F in that direction. So the Newton's third law simply says, as a reaction, the book shall also push my hand in the opposite direction with the same force F. It's as simple as that. If A pushes B with a force F, then B also pushes A in the opposite direction with the same force F. Please observe, the action and reaction act on two different bodies. If the hand applies a force F on the book applies a force F on the hand. So one force acted on the book, the other acted on the hand. Action and reaction act on two different bodies. Okay, so please answer correctly. The right answer is they do not form an action reaction pair. So now let me ask you something very important. If they do not form an action reaction pair, what is the reaction to this force mg? What is the reaction to this force mg? Let me see what are your answers. Normal. Come on, I just told you this normal force and this mg force both are acting on the block and they just cannot form an action reaction pair. See, remember I told you in the beginning of this chapter, forces, that while discussing forces, while discussing any force, you can and you should rather ask this question. Whenever you want to analyze a force, you better ask this question. ये फोर्स कौन लगा रहा है और किस पर लग रहा है? कौन लगा रहा है ये फोर्स और किस पर लग रहा है? जैसे जब इस बुक पे मैं F फोर्स लगा रहा था तो इसका रिएक्शन ढूंढने का क्या तरीका था? बहुत आसान था. ये सोचो कि ये जो बुक पे F फोर्स लग रहा है ये कौन लगा रहा है? मेरा हाथ. तो ये F फोर्स जो बुक पे लग रहा है मेरे हाथ के द्वारा, इसका रिएक्शन मेरे हाथ पे लगेगा बुक के द्वारा. सो ये mg जो ब्लॉक पे लग रहा है, तुम्हें स्क्रीन पे दिख रहा है, इसका रिएक्शन ढूंढना बहुत आसान है. ये सोचो हु इज अप्लाइंग दिस फोर्स mg ऑन द ब्लॉक. द राइट आंसर इज अर्थ. द सेंटर ऑफ द अर्थ attracts all objects towards self including this block. तो अर्थ इस ब्लॉक पे mg नीचे की तरफ लगा रही है, तो इसका इस mg का रिएक्शन किस पे लगेगा? अर्थ पर. यस, few of you have answered it correctly. अर्थ पर लगेगा. द ब्लॉक विल also apply a force mg on earth in the upward direction. mg में g m किसका आएगा? मास ऑफ अर्थ? नहीं, द सेम mg, मास ऑफ ब्लॉक. g बड़ा मास ऑफ अर्थ into मास ऑफ ब्लॉक by re square. The same force earth will also apply, block will also apply on the earth, and there also we can say बड़ा g me by re square as the constant. and as small g, and small mg, m being the mass of the block, the same force will be applied by a block also on the earth. Why did we not show that in the diagram? Because in the diagram our system is block. Our focus is to analyze the forces acting on the block, and the force mg which is shown in the diagram is the force acting on the block by the earth, and its reaction mg will act on the earth by the block. So this mg which is acting on the block and the mg which must be acting on the earth by the block form an action reaction pair, and not this mg and normal. What about the reaction to this normal force? Now, who is applying this normal force on the block? The answer is the surface on which it is placed. Let's say a table. So the table is applying this normal force in the block, and as a reaction, the block must also be pressing the table in the downward direction with the same force N, and the two N's will form an action reaction pair. Actually, any of the force can be called as an action and its pair as the reaction. The block presses the table with a force N. N is a kind of contact force, and the table in turn pushes the block upwards with a force N, and the two N's form an action and reaction pair. These two forces which are acting on the block, mg and normal, both being on the same body, just cannot form an action reaction pair. I hope you keep this small discussion in mind. And this is good enough an introduction for the Newton's third law. Any questions if you want to ask? You're most welcome. Any questions, any queries that you have? You did not understand. See, as I had explained earlier also, if A applies a force F on B, B applies a force F on A. The two forces form an action reaction pair. Here mg and normal may be equal and opposite, but that does not mean that they are an action reaction pair. Come on, I can push a wall here by a force F, and my friend can push a wall there by a force F in the opposite direction. The two forces may be equal and opposite, but that does not make them an action reaction pair. न्यूटन एक्शन रिएक्शन पेयर क्या होता है, प्लीज समझिए. अगर अर्थ ब्लॉक पे mg नीचे लगा रही है तो ब्लॉक भी अर्थ को mg से ऊपर खींच रहा होगा. द टू विल फॉर्म एन एक्शन रिएक्शन पेयर. अगर ब्लॉक टेबल को n से नीचे प्रेस कर रहा होगा, इट बीइंग इन कांटेक्ट विद द टेबल, तो टेबल भी ब्लॉक पे n ऊपर की डायरेक्शन में लगा रही होगी. There is another explanation which I can give you to make you realize that these mg and normal do not form an action reaction pair, but that ideally is going to follow after a while, which is mg is what kind of a force? mg is a gravitational force. mg is a gravitational force. Normal is what kind of a force? It's a contact force. Yes, it's a contact force, but contact force is a lousy term. See, forces can be classified in various ways. One classification is contact forces and field forces, but that's not a very, I would say, physics-based classification. In nature, as far as today's knowledge is concerned, we say that forces are of four types. इसमें भी the classical mechanics, the day-to-day mechanics which we study, wherein we come across large objects which are not moving with speeds comparable to that of light. So the objects are not very small and they are not moving with very high speeds. This is the realm of classical mechanics, Newtonian mechanics, wherein the Newton's laws are found to be valid. So in this realm, only two kinds of forces become important. The first is the gravitational force. mg is a gravitational force. And the second type of force is the electromagnetic force. And let me tell you, friends, all the contact forces which we come across are of electromagnetic origin, including this normal force. However hard it is for you to believe, all contact forces originate because of some dislocation of charges at the electron level. So normal is an electromagnetic force and mg is a gravitational force. We'll talk about it in detail after a while. But please understand, when their basic type itself is different, one is electromagnetic, one is gravitational force, how can they form an action reaction pair? They do not form an action reaction pair. The block, the mg force shown on the block, what is the reaction to it? The mg force which earth must be experiencing because of the block. And the normal force which can be seen in the diagram, which is acting on the block, uska reaction kya hai? The normal force by which the block must be pressing the table. The two normals, both being electromagnetic, would be forming an action reaction pair. And the two mg's, one on the block and one on the earth, form an action reaction pair. I hope this concept is clear to you now.